The names. Strike our light order.
Lady Celestia.
Together we are Celestial
Strike.
We are live on Twitch. Shout out to everybody that has rolled through so far. We love you, love you, love you.
Shout out.
To our YouTube gang who's watching this later on. How's it going?
What up? What up with it?
If you like what you're seeing or what you will see, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and make sure that you're following the Twitch so you can get in on this and be in there for the after party that will ensue after this podcast. So today, the Phyrexia all-in-one, I will say, we went and got a pre-release. Big.
It was disappointing.
Big swing and a miss.
Yeah. Not that I'm sure. Not that like. I don't know. We just haven't had good luck the last few. We didn't get any like super like. We wanted a Lesh. We were like, man, we're gonna get a Lesh.
I just knew we were gonna get a Lesh.
Every single pack that we cracked, we were like, where is she? And it didn't happen.
Yeah. But either way, we're loving all will be one so far.
It's crazy. There's some really crazy mechanics.
Yeah. Just like
really
Chief was saying,
cards.
everything looks nutty, and
it's broke AF.
It's gonna get fun. So what we are doing is a red artifact tribal deck. So it's mono red, but has colorless artifacts in there too. But it's called To Affinity and Beyond. And I'll explain why. So, the commander. It is Chiss. I'm going to go with Chiss, right? Chiss-Goria, Forge Tyrant. So it's 6 and 3 red. So you're like, whoa, what are you doing with a 9-drop commander, Striker, right? Well, here's the deal. It's a 5/4 legendary dragon. Affinity for artifacts. So that means is that it's going to cost 1 less for each artifact we control. There's a lot of them in the deck. So we will have no problem casting the commander.
So does that mean if you have a mana ramp artifact, it technically...
Yeah, because it would be 1 off of the commander and you'd be tapping it for mana. So yeah, how about that? Stick that in your pipe and smoke it.
Nice. Flying in haste.
And whenever it attacks, we're actually going to exile the top 5 cards of our library, and I can cast an artifact spell from among them this turn. And if I do, it has affinity for artifacts. Ooh. So that's kind of what we talking about when we're like To Affinity and Beyond. Everything's going to have affinity because of our gal Chiss. And congratulations, Lady C, completing her first, not a Praetor, but Phyrexian and Dragon. I mean, did you see her get the completion there? All right off the rip.
Thank you.
So how we typically do this is we start in a specific order. Start off with, your ramp and your mana rocks, mana dorks if they're in there. And then we move through the deck, look at the artifacts, look at the combos, and then get into some synergy. So without further ado,
adieu.
Let's talk about some mana rocks, and these are just our
staples.
Yeah, these are our recommendations, and this is the staples we typically run in just about every single deck. So like Soul Ring in EDH, it just seems like, I mean, what are you doing if you don't have a Soul Ring in it? You know what I mean? Arcane Signet, get the 2 out there. You're gonna tap it. You add 1 mana of any color of your commander's color identity. Your Cold Steel Heart comes in battlefield tap, but you get to choose a color. Add 1 mana of any color. I really like those because I know it comes out tapped, but any 2-drop mana rocks, I'm in on. Lady C, some other ones.
Prophetic Prism. You get to draw a card and mana.
That's why I really
ramp.
Like that one, is the draw the card thing.
Yeah, Commander Sphere. This one also, you can sacrifice it and draw a card, but I mean, that's like a really desperation move there. Gilded Lotus, 3 mana of any color. Yeah. So,
like I said, there's plenty of other ones. I think there's a lot more than that in the deck even, but those are just some examples. We're not going to go through the whole 100 and the whole 99, but we're going to hit the highlights. If you like what you're seeing so far, hit the deck. Hit the link to the deck below if you're watching on YouTube, and look through it. Let us know what you changed, what you wouldn't. But let's get into more of the meat and potatoes. So let's talk about some ramp. So with every EDH deck, you gotta have the ramp going on, and this one is no different. It's a little tougher to ramp with red, you know. Red doesn't have your green mana dorks that you can just pop out there like your Paradise Druid or Incubation Druid. You gotta be a little bit more creative with your.
I mean, that Affinity, that is pretty helpful.
Yes, so you don't technically need I'm always a ramp guy. Gotta have ramp in there, but this one helps out that the Affinity is in there, so you're hoping that you don't have to rely on a bunch of ramp. But Lady C, walk us through a little bit of ramp.
Got some artifact creatures up in here. We got the Dune Mover. Dune, is it it's Mover?
Mover, yeah.
Dune Mover. A 2/1 with Toxic 1.
Ooh.
And when it enters the battlefield, you get to search your library for a basic land card, reveal it, and then put that card on the top of your library.
Boom.
So ramp up that way. Then you got the Ornithopter of Paradise. This is a staple. We always put
every
this
single
in all
commander
of our
deck.
decks.
Yep.
Which is a 0/2 flyer, add 1 mana of any color. And then you have the Mirror Convert, Toxic 1, and then you can pay 2 life and tap him and add 1 mana of colors.
Yep, I really like the Phyrexian nature of this deck, to where now you're paying 2 life just to get mana ramp. So that's about it on the mana ramp there. Like I said, you're hoping that your Affinity, I couldn't get it out, is that's what she said, is gonna carry you in this said thing. Let's talk about the artifact. Speaking of the Affinity, here's how you're gonna get where you want to get going.
You wanna go.
So how do we get there? You gotta have the artifacts, you gotta have a lot of them, and they also gotta be good. You can't just throw artifacts in there. I mean, you could, but what's the fun in that? Lady C, what are we looking at here?
Churning Reservoir. 1 red. At the beginning of your upkeep, put an oil counter on another target non-token artifact or creature you control.
Yep.
And then for 2 mana and a tap, create a 1/1 red Phyrexian Goblin creature token. Activate only if an oil counter was removed from a permanent you controlled this turn, or a permanent with an oil counter on it was put into a graveyard this turn. So I did notice when we were cracking packs earlier that this whole oil counter is a thing.
The oil counter is a new thing, and if you put oil counters on, certain creatures you can remove oil counters to do things, add oil counters to do things. If you have X amount of oil counters, you get to do special things with certain cards. So it's seemingly not super powerful, but if you have a lot of them, which this deck will have a lot of cards that look like they give you low oil counters or whatever, it pumps your creatures in a sense too with certain cards, and we'll get into that as well. So the Filigree Silex is the other one we're looking at. It's a 2-drop legendary artifact. Put an oil counter on it. If you tap it, you can tap and sack it, and then you destroy each non-land permanent with mana value equal to the number of oil counters you have on the Filigree. Is that how you'd say that? Filigree Silex? Anyway, you can also tap it, remove 10 oil counters from among permanents you control, and sacrifice the Silex, and it's going to deal 10 damage to any targets. Yeah. So, also got the Stasis Coffin for 3. You can pay 2, tap it, exile it. You gain protection from everything until end of turn. Or until the end of your next turn. Excuse me, that's even more broken. And then you got Urabrask Forge. It's 2 and a red. For an artifact here. At the beginning of your combat of your turn, put an oil counter on Urabrask Forge, and then create an X1 red Phyrexian horror creature token with trample and haste, where X is the number of oil counters on Urabrask Forge. Sacrifice that token at the beginning of your next end step. Whew.
That's a lot.
A lot of flavor text on that, but we made it through. That's a good one too. You just constantly are adding oil counters, so you can have the little, like we were just looking at with the Silex, we can, Doomscar someone to the face. I don't know why I said Doomscar. It had nothing to do with that card. But it sounded cool, actually. I'm going to start saying that. But also, you get to create the tokens that are going to be big and bad eventually that have trample and haste. So, big fan of that. Lady C, what are we looking at in the next ones?
Lux Artillery. Whenever you cast an artifact creature spell, it gains Sunburst. All these new mechanics.
Boom.
So that means
actually, I think Sunburst is old. I'm pretty sure it's
so
old.
the recycling.
Yeah, this may not be an all will be one card. I think I have a few in here that are just
older cards.
Yeah, just artifacts. So I think this was an old one that is. I mean, it's making a comeback now. You know what I'm saying? So.
Yeah, it will for sure. It enters the battlefield with the 1/1 counter on it for each color of mana spent to cast it. That's what Sunburst. At the beginning of your end step, if there are 30 or more counters among artifacts and creatures you control, Lux Artillery deals 10 damage to each opponent.
Got him.
Ooh.
So, yeah, that's pretty good.
Rib Skiff. The artifact vehicle 4/4 with Toxic 2. When it enters the battlefield, draw a card and you can crew for 3.
Perfection.
Then we have I can't talk. Slagstone Refinery. When Slagstone Refinery or another non-token artifact you control is put into a graveyard from the battlefield or is put into exile from the battlefield, create a tapped Power Stone token.
Yeah, and Power Stones are essentially treasure tokens that add colorless. Instead of adding one of any color, it's colorless mana. So, other ones. Trading Post. So this one's nice. You can discard a card and gain 4 life if you pay 1 and tap it. You pay 1 and pay 1 life, you can create a 0/1 white goat creature token. It's basically a chump blocker. And then you can pay 1, tap it, sacrifice a creature, return target artifact card from your graveyard to your hand. So that's pretty nifty to be able to reanimate something that you lost. Also, you can sack an artifact, draw a card. Other 4-drop ones, Symmetry Matrix. So it's 4-drop. Yeah, whenever a creature with power equal to its toughness enters the battlefield under your control, pay the 1. If you do, draw a card. Here's the meta though. Vidalcan Orrery for a 4-drop as well. You may cast spells as if they had flash. So now we get to cast our arties anytime we want.
Anytime, every time. Okay.
60% of the time, every time.
Okay.
Just saying.
I like.
Last 2, Lady C.
Dragon Wing Glider. He's cute. Artifact equipment for Mirrodin.
Yeah.
Which means when this equipment enters the battlefield, create a 2/2 red rebel creature token, then attach this to it.
That's one of the new mechanics for Mirrodin.
For Mirrodin! Is that kind of like for Frodo?
Yes.
Equipped creature gets +2/+2 and has flying and haste. So cute.
That's a cool.
Hexplate Wallbreaker, not as cute.
No.
He's got like a giant honeycomb wrench.
He's having a rough hair day.
So there's another equipment with for Mirrodin.
Yes.
And then equipped creature gets +2/+2 whenever it attacks. If it's the first combat phase of the turn, untap each attacking creature. After this phase, there's an additional combat phase. What in the?
Come on, baby! I want extra combats too.
You know what? It might be no hands.
All right, so no hands is being a know-it-all. So hold on, everybody. We're gonna. Mirodin.
In
the word.
Mirodin.
Narration check. No. Okay. Well, let me add this right here. Okay. Well, I was trying to highlight your chat message. Anyway, he says
Mirodin.
No Hands thinks it's Mirodin. Mirodin. Long eye.
Mirodin.
We're just wasting time at this point. Removal / control is our next little topic here. Oh no. So see, this is what we were going with. So let's see if it lets me. Yeah. So that. Oh no, I don't have it on this one. Anyway, my rod in is what No Hands was going for. So.
Bruh.
Anyway, so removal. And it's kind of, well, like I say removal, it's burned because it's mono red, but I'm not going to make a whole new one. But,
yep. Yeah.
So lightning bolt, it's a 1-drop. Really awesome because it deals 1 damage to any target for 1. And then shock is a 1-drop as well, but 2 damage to any target. Abrade is really cool because you pay 1 in a red and you get 3 damage that you can deal to target creature, or you can destroy target artifact.
YouTube audience, I just want to clarify. We do know that this is not technically removal.
Yeah.
So don't at me.
Don't at me, bro. Removal, Lady C.
Inescapable Blaze. This one is such a bitch.
Yes.
I love it. And then Rebel Salvo.
Affinity for equipment.
Ooh.
There is a little bit of equipment in.
Rebel Salvo deals 5 damage to target creature or planeswalker. That permanent loses indestructible at the end of turn.
Boom.
Oh, shit.
Got him.
Shit.
Also, let's take a look at the control. So there's that. All right. So you got everything in place. You're like, we're ready to go, right? However, gotta find a way to protect before we attack. And then afterwards, we snack. So, how are we going to protect? We're going to protect with the Swiftfoot Boots. It's a 2-drop, and it's an artifact equipment. Equipped creature has hexproof and haste. You equip it for 1. But even better, Lightning Greaves. The more expensive version. 2-drop. Equipped creature has haste and shroud, which shroud is essentially hexproof. You equip it for 0. So that's kind of the...
That is not too shabby.
Yeah. Lightning Greaves are what's up.
Bad.
So equip it to the commander. Make sure we keep getting the affinity, and we're exiling cards, and we're playing stuff off the top of our spell. Got to make sure the commander's
safe.
Protected. So let's talk about some fun combos, and essentially the combo that I'm trying to pull off whenever I roll up on your ass.
Roll up.
With this deck. So like we said, it's artifacts, right? Like, get the artifacts out there, do your thing. How are we going to put it all together, Lady C?
I don't know.
Well, why don't you tell us?
Okay. Mech Titan Core.
Boom.
The artifact vehicle, 2/4. He has, for 5 mana, you can exile Mech Titan Core. And 4 other artifact creatures and or vehicles you control create Mech Titan. Ooh, a legendary 10/10 construct artifact creature token with flying, vigilance, trample, lifelink, and haste. It's all colors. When that token leaves the battlefield, return all cards exiled with Mech Titan Core except Mech Titan Core to the battlefield, tapped under their owner's control.
Perfection.
So that is a massive play right there.
Yeah, it's pretty good. We talked about Lux Artillery as well. So whenever you're casting an artifact creature, it gets a sunburst, which means it's going to enter with a 1/1 counter on it for each color of mana spent to cast it. It'll only be 1 in this deck, but we get to add the extra counter. But at the beginning of our end step, if we have those 30 more counters, we'll be doing 10 damage to each opponent, like right to their face. So here's the thought process. You got the Mech Titan Core. You go ahead and get Mech Titan, which is the 10/10, right? You're able to do the minus 30 counters at one point. By the time you probably get there, we're doing 10 damage to people. And then on our end step, we're going to bring in Bosch Iron Golem to the party. We're going to pay the 3 in the red, sack an artifact. So that would be our 10/10 construct that we just did. And then we're going to deal damage equal to the sack. Oh no, I did it wrong. Oh, I thought it was freaking power. Oh, I don't have my little Price is Right thing. No. Okay, so I was thinking that it was power, sack the power for the 10. But there's plenty of big artifacts in here that you can do this fun little thing in here with. But this was an epic fail on my part. So
no.
RIP in peace to that combo. But you get the gist of it. Get those cards on the board and then let the pieces fall as they will, which is exactly what you can do with the rest of it going on over here. So Felden of the Third Path. So you pay 1 and 2 red. You're gonna have a 2/3 human artificer. So you pay 2 and a red, tap it, create a token that's a copy of the target creature card in your graveyard, except it's an artifact in addition to its other types. It gains haste, sacrifice it at the beginning of the next end step. So whenever we have Bosch out there, we can be doubling up here because we're going to be making a token copy of something in our graveyard. And then that's actually a good question too. Do we get the mana value if it's a token? Probably not, huh?
Probably not.
Well, either way, that's kind of the whole point, is you're going to have stuff in your graveyard that you can just keep bringing out and smacking. And I think you can... No, you can't do it with the cast artifact. So you got all that going. Angrass Marauders.
This one's my jam spot.
Yep.
I won a game the other night because of this card.
Yep. So 5 and 2 red, so 7 total for the 4/4 human pirate. If a source you control would deal damage to a permanent or player, it deals double that damage to that permanent or player instead. So that's where we go back to your Lux Artillery and your Bosch, sacking artifacts, doing direct damage, taking the counters off, doing the 10 damage to everybody. Now be 20, you know. And if you have your Mech Titan out there, the 10/10 is doing 20/20 lifelink flying vigilance. Golly. Anyway. And then you got Phyrexian Triniform. It's a 9-drop, I know, but what you're hoping is you have that affinity going on, so you can cast this for pretty cheap. The 9/9 artifact creature Golem. However, when it dies, create 3/3 colorless Golem artifact creature tokens, and you can encore it out of the graveyard for 12. You just have to exile it to do that and bring it all over again. So when you have the Triniform out there and you got Angraths out there, you can sack it with Bosch, right? And it's going to be 9 to the dome of someone, but it'll actually be 18. And it doesn't even matter because you're going to get to make 3/3 colorless Golem tokens that you're going to keep fighting with. And then you can just create a token copy of Phyrexian Triniform out of your graveyard and keep making, because you're going to sacrifice the beginning of your next end step, you're going to keep making 3/3 colorless Golem artifact creature tokens out of the graveyard every single turn after casting a 9/9. Like, are y'all kidding me here?
That's so...
I'm like out of breath talking about that. That is such a crazy combination. And if it works the way that I'm picturing it in my head, that seems almost unbeatable. Like if I get the Triniform in the graveyard with, what is his name? It's one of the newer ones, right? Felden of the Third Path. If I can get him out there and get Triniform in the graveyard, I mean, Angrass at that point is basically just the cherry on top, right? That is absolutely insane. So let us know what you think about those combos below, and laugh at us at the epic fail that I had putting this together. I was like, oh, this is awesome. I get to freaking fling all the power right of it. No, it's mana value.
One little word sure does change everything, doesn't it?
Anyway, let's talk about
synergy.
Real meat and potatoes. The synergy. How's it all gonna put it together? Not only do you have your combos, but if you can't hit your combos, how are you gonna win the rest of the game, right? So, Lady C, what are we looking at?
Well, got the Mirror Retriever. Am I pronouncing that right?
Mirror. Yes, you got it. Mirror.
When it dies, return another target artifact card from your graveyard to your...
Like it.
That's really nice. Yep. Because, I mean, you could bust out one of your big ones gone or sacrifice for that.
And then just keep bringing it back.
Shrapnel Slinger. Phyrexian Beast artifact creature. When it enters the battlefield, you may sacrifice a creature. When you do, destroy target artifact an opponent controls.
Boom.
That is cool too. Got lots of in and out of the graveyard stuff.
Like it.
It's going on a lot. Atraxis Skitterfang. A Phyrexian insect. That's an interesting looking card.
Isn't it so
I like
cute?
It's colorful.
Yeah.
It enters the battlefield with 3 oil counters on it. At the beginning of combat on your turn, you may remove an oil counter. When you do, target creatures you control or target creature you control gains your choice of flying, vigilance, death touch, or lifelink until end of turn.
Yep, really like that. Like I said, the oil counters, they're going to matter. Not only, as you saw, several different things. You can remove counters to make things happen, right? So that's definitely useful. There's nothing useful about just putting the oil counter on. You have to have the other cards that kind of make it happen, Captain, you know? Other ones we got in there, Ishur. Ecor Plate Golem. It's a 3-drop 2/3 Phyrexia. Icor.
I don't know. I know that's
Ichor.
I know what it means.
So it's a 2/3 Phyrexian Golem. Whenever a creature enters a battlefield under your control, if it has one or more oil counters on it. Oh, if it has one or more oil counters on it, put an oil counter on it. Creatures you control with oil counters on them get +1/+1. So it's starting to make a little comeback here. Then we got Junk Diver. It's a 3/3 flying version of the Mirror Retriever we were talking about earlier. So it flies, but when it dies, you get to return target artifact graveyard to your hand. Then you got Liberator, Urza's Battlethopter. Anything with Urza, you know it's going to be rude. So it's a 3-drop 1/2 Thopter. You can flash it in. It has flying. You may cast colorless spells and artifact spells off as they had flash. Whenever you cast a spell, if the amount of mana spent to cast is greater than the Battlethopter's power, you put a 1/1 counter on Liberator.
That's a pretty nice card.
I like it.
I do too.
Lady C?
Scrap Trawler, a artifact creature construct, a 3/2. When Scrap Trawler or another artifact you control is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, return your hand target artifact creature with lesser mana value.
Ooh, a little death loop, huh?
Shimmer Mirror.
Mirror. I'm pretty sure it's Mirror. Let us know if it's not Mirror, but I'm pretty sure it's Mirror.
You may cast artifact spells as though they had flash. Another nice little thing you can. Then you've got your Workshop Assistant. When Workshop Assistant dies, return another target artifact from your graveyard to your.
What a great little assistant. You just keep getting stuff out of the graveyard back into your hand, so it doesn't matter if things die. Not only that, if they die and you can't get one of these creatures to die to get something back, you can just keep creating token copies of it with our boy from earlier and just keep doing it. It's crazy. So we got Heiko Yamasaki, the General. It is 3 and a red, and it's a 3/3 human samurai, has trample, and whenever a samurai or warrior attacks alone, you may cast target artifact card from your graveyard this turn. So swing with them, get to cast something out of the graveyard, like maybe the Triniform again. Lodestone Golem. It's a 4-drop 5/3 artifact golem. Here's the fun part. Non-artifact spells cost 1 more to cast. So we're running artifact tribal. I'm gonna make everybody else's shit a lot more expensive, right?
Yeah.
Odobrask Anointer for 3 and a red. You're gonna have a 4/2 artifact Phyrexian Wizard. Whenever it enters the battlefield, you're gonna deal X damage to any target where X is a number of permanents you control with oil counters on them. So keep getting back to the oil counters. Like you're like, well, those oil counters, okay, I get what you're saying. Like maybe they're cool. No. If you keep doing it and you keep doing it, like they just slowly
doing it.
And people don't even realize that it's happening. It's just like, okay, I did an oil counter because they don't do anything. So it seems like there's nothing happening, right? Oh, I put an oil counter here. Well, what does that do? Well, nothing. It's just I got an oil counter on. Oh, okay. Then I start casting these things that are like, oh, I get to deal X damage to you now because I have 10 oil counters on it. So enjoy your 10 to the face all of a sudden because I just cast an artifact. So just
to the face, to your dome.
Pretty rude. Okay, last couple here. Lady C.
Oh, I love Odobrask the Hidden. He is a Phyrexian Praetor, 4/4. Creatures you control have haste. Creatures your opponents control enter the battlefield tapped. So rude. Awesome. Goldatha Forge Master, the 3/5 that has tap it and sacrifice 3 artifacts. Search your library for an artifact card, then put it onto the battlefield. Then shuffle your library. Oof. So if you have a very specific artifact that you need at that point in time,
all you gotta do is sack them.
There you go, baby.
Go tutor. We didn't miss anything, right? Okay, cool. So we got our little creature synergy going on. So is there any enchantments here? So the one enchantment that I put in the deck is Pia?
Paya.
I'm not saying it. Okay.
I don't know.
Paya.
Paya.
Revolution. 2 and a red. So it's an enchantment here. Whenever a non-token artifact is put into our graveyard from the battlefield, return that card to your hand unless target opponent has Pia's Revolution deal 3 damage to them. So every time one of our things dies, we get to get it back unless they want to take 3 to the face every single time something dies.
Nice. That's nice. It's
So,
like a consolation for whenever one of our things die. And that would count for if we're destroying our own artifact.
yeah, so if we're sacking and we just want to fling something at them,
I like it.
got them.
I like it.
Got him. So that's how we get down with that. I don't think there's any other things popping up, like as far as any other creatures or anything like that. I'm pretty sure we're good. Yep. So now let's move on to the Q&A factor. If anybody has anything going down, I got one that's just ready to go. And unfortunate that we have to go here with such a professional podcast.
Myriad?
Myrian Myrodin. That's how we're pronouncing it.
I don't think that's it.
That's what she said.
So
I don't think that's right.
if anybody in the chat has any questions or any comments or anything, let us know. If you're watching on YouTube, comment below. Let us know what you liked, what you didn't like, if you thought that this whole thing was a fail or it was a ginormous W. Let us know. And also, please like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe. Come over to our Twitch. Follow the Twitch. Get in on the good stuff, because here in just a moment we are about to start the after party, which means that we're going to, I believe tonight, we're going to go play an actual EDH game in Untap with our Discord. The Discord is another thing. There's a link down below. If you like to build decks, you like all things Magic, our Discord's the place to be. We've got lots of people who build all sorts of different types of decks. We've got, EDH, standard, however you like to play.
However you get down, if you
basically. And it's just
paper
an awesome
or arena,
community. It's an awesome community that likes to help each other. We also like to challenge each other to games, and it's really fun.
Just win. But y'all, really appreciate y'all popping in. We are gonna not keep our Celestials waiting any longer. We're getting to the after party. I'm pumped about it. But we really appreciate y'all rolling through. We will catch y'all in the next one. I am Strike Our Light Herder.
I am Lady Celestria.
Together we all Celestial Strike. Catch y'all next time. Take it sleazy.
Bye.
Peace.